You're probably wondering, where is a good place to put some money to get some interest these days? It seems pretty volatile out there money-wise, and if you're like me, you're always wondering, what should I do? I have some money, I want to make some money. What's a good interest rate? What should I do? Well, today's the day we're going to talk about that. So if you want to know more, just stay tuned. He is from Garden Savings Federal Credit Union. Good morning.
Good morning, Andrea. How are you?
I'm good. And well, you are definitely the person to talk about money. If someone is listening for the first time, maybe just introduce yourself, Mike, and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Sure. My name's Mike Powers. I'm the president and CEO of Garden Savings Federal Credit Union. For those out there that may not be familiar with credit unions, we are the not-for-profit version of banks. Garden Savings is the fifth largest credit union in New Jersey at about $500 million in assets, serving well over 30,000 people. And yeah, providing banking needs and helping people with their financial dreams and achieving those and however we can help.
Well, I think these days we're all having dreams of high interest rates and making some money. And it's not easy right now, is it?
No, no. Obviously, it's a incredibly volatile world out there, and because of that, the markets are changing daily. 2 months ago, we were all hearing look for two more rate cuts at the federal level before the end of the year. And last week, while the war was still at its peak, we were hearing brace for no rate cuts. In fact, maybe a rate hike or two by the end of the year. Now that apparently a deal has been reached to stop the war, at least for the time being, we're hoping that holds. Now I suspect it'll take a few weeks, but I suspect we're going to hear that changed yet again, and we'll be in either a hold pattern on the rates or they may even come down again, or at least that's what they'll project. So it's so hard to keep up with everything, and it makes everything incredibly difficult for not only investors but financial institutions to price their products accordingly because the markets change so frequently. It's a tough time to invest.
It is, I mean, I feel like this has been going on for a while now. Even before the war, there's been rate cuts and rate cuts. And in my mind, it's always been counterintuitive that the saver is penalized, not the
Yeah,
spender.
yeah, it's strange how that works, right? Because the saver actually likes it when the rates are up, right? In most
Yes,
ways. In most ways. But the borrower likes it when loans are down. So for younger people, I mean, I don't envy the young generation out there that are buying their first home. Between the cost of homes and the rates that were out there. They've come down a little bit, but they're still like near six
very.
on mortgages. That is not an easy thing to pay for your first house being, you know, average house being about 400,000 now with the mortgages. I mean, for a young couple, that's very difficult to finance. So it's not easy. So yeah, it is a little bit counterintuitive, but as rates drop, that it's not as good for a savers market, which is why it's important to have different types of products out there and to invest. We were kind of talking about it before we started this interview. My advice to people right now is usually about investing not super conservatively, but because things are so in flux, keep your money in something relatively liquid if you can get a good interest rate. I was talking about our Accelerate Savings account here at Garden Savings. That's 3.75% APY on the first 15,000 and 1% on anything over that. So, and it's liquid money. There's no catches,
Right.
no bells, no whistles. Excuse me. Sorry about that. And yeah, there's a lot of different things going on with the Accelerate Savings. We also have something called the Platinum Rate Rewards checking account. That one does require 12 point of sale transactions. and e-statements and some sort of direct deposit or an online bill pay. Those are the three criteria. But that earns 4.75%, I believe, on the first 15,000. Don't quote me on that. Check our website. And then the balance is a different rate. But when you look at that, if you opened a platinum rate rewards checking and a accelerate savings, you could have $30,000 of liquid money earning a very good interest rate.
Think it's really important to have liquid money because listen, things happen. We have emergencies, and and I don't mean, an emergency. Maybe your air conditioner breaks, your car, you need a new washing machine. You have to have access to your money. So I do agree that it's super important to have money in a place where you can just get to it in 24 hours. And you can
Yeah.
really only kind of do that with a savings account.
Yeah, savings are checking. And by the way, I just double checked and it's 5%, not 4.75 on that first 15,000 in checking. So you could have 15,000 in the checking at 5% and 15,000 in the accelerate savings at 3.75. And all that money is totally liquid, accessible via ATM, accessible via our tellers or shared branches. So yeah, I do recommend those at this time because no one knows what the market's going to look like just yet. It used to be in my early years in this industry, or even 10 years ago, that you could kind of get a feel for, hey, CDs are going to be parked here for a while before they need to change anything. You don't get that right now. Nobody really knows what the rates are going to be, which is why if you are doing CDs, most of the good interest rates you see out there now are 12 to 18 months because no
Yes.
one's got this crystal ball that's going to offer you, hey, in 3, 4, or 5 years, it's going to be this. Financial institutions don't know where it's going to be either. And so we're pricing our longer term money extremely conservatively because nobody wants to take that risk that, you offer a CD at 5% and rates are down to 2.5. And then the financial institution's upside down. So, it's a tricky market to navigate through. And, my biggest thing here at Garden Savings with our staff and with our customers slash members is transparency. We try and be very transparent about everything, and I tell people exactly that. What I just told you is we don't know where rates are going to be in 3 to 5 years, so it's hard for us to make those our best price product.
Well, I'm noticing that myself as I look around. The better rates are for a very short term. And of course, now that you've explained it, it makes perfect sense. You would have thought, well, back in the day, if I put my money in a CD or something for multiple years, I'd get a higher rate. And maybe it used to be that way.
Yeah,
But now anything over 12 months is actually lower.
yeah, it
But
definitely.
it makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. For years it was that way. That the longer you went out, the higher rate you got.
Right,
A
right.
straight uphill climb. And now that's no longer the case. Now it's a little bit of that where people are trying to when you go short term for the financial institution from our standpoint, short term, even if rates fluctuate, the most you're going to feel some pain is, 8 months, 9 months, 10 months from the financial institution standpoint. So that's a lot easier to deal with, and then you can reprice accordingly. But you don't want to be caught in a long-term 5-year type thing where the money's tied up that long. So again,
That makes
circling back to
sense.
where we started, which is keeping money liquid, if things settle and if things become more easy to project, and then we start pricing things the old-fashioned way again, we're going out as far as 5 years on a CD becomes your highest rate. Well, if you've got your money in liquid accounts earning a good rate, that's there for you to move into a CD when you want to do it.
Right. Before you were mentioning something, Mike, about you don't want to be too conservative. What would be
Yeah.
an, what would be an example of too conservative?
Well, I hear stories, particularly among seniors, unfortunately, of people actually reverting back to some mattress type savings, and that is never recommended.
In a million years, I would
Now,
not have thought you were going to say.
now I've been hearing actually a number of stories from a few of our branches about people saying, with the shaky economy and all this stuff, that I don't trust keeping it in a bank, and the mattress savings stuff. I would never recommend to anyone either. But when I say too conservative, what I mean is keeping everything in, just standard savings accounts, earning 0.5% just because you don't want to take it out of there. You can always find something that's a lot more liquid than keeping it parked in something 0.5% because you're worried about things. So I don't recommend the savings account option to keep most of your money there. I think, and I also don't recommend going crazy as far as like, putting everything in 5 year, thinking rates might not get better. Rates will probably go down and then back up, or stay flat and then go back up at some point. So I wouldn't recommend that. I would actually wait it out. That's what I'm doing with my own money. Is I
Mhm.
keep a lot of it in as much liquid stuff as I can and take advantage of those shorter term CDs that have the good rates, and that's a smart way to play it because you're not being too aggressive, and you're not keeping money in things that are not earning anything either.
I'm still thinking about the mattress.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how many people do that. There's
Ah,
still a good number of people that they don't trust financial institutions, and even when I tell them that your accounts at Garden Savings are insured up to 250,000 by the NCUA, and we have private insurance for another 250,000, they still get like, well, what good is that? The NCUA is the government. I'm like, it's backed by the full faith of the government. Some people just don't want to hear it, and they don't trust financial institutions. And I think with everything that's been going on lately, in the world and locally, that for whatever reason, people have lost a lot of faith in, well, what does it actually matter if the government's backing it? And I can tell you it still matters a lot, because the financial institution isn't going to collapse around one or two little local banks going under. It would have to take two or three of the massive big six banks, we call them, to
right,
go up, cause
right.
any damage. And that's not going to happen. They're still doing fine.
If you are a mattress person, I don't know what you call, or you stick your money in the freezer or something like that in the house because you're worried about a bank. I'm worried that you might have a fire in your house or you might get robbed, and then your
Absolutely.
money is really gone.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, again, I don't recommend that to
No,
anyone. I mean,
yeah.
I get it if somebody wants to keep 200 or 300 bucks in a dresser drawer in case of a pinch, that's fine. But keeping anything of substance, multiple thousands of dollars in your house makes no sense. It's just not a well-advised thing to do.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. That's scary. Um, yeah. So, all right. So, ultra conservative would be either the mattress or, the most
Yeah.
minimal
The
savings or
mattress
checking
is the
account.
extreme example. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Well, that
just
is
keeping
extreme, but
everything.
obviously some people
Yeah,
are extreme. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
So you know what? So for those people who don't know, Garden Savings Federal Credit Union, there is a location in Ocean County. And so why don't you just tell I will put all of that in the show notes, but
Sure.
just tell everyone where that is.
Sure. Yeah, we're located in Brick, New Jersey. Let me see if I have the address up there. Well, I would say just go to our website to grab the address. I don't know it off the top of my head, but it's in Brick in a strip mall, and then very easily accessed, and the staff over there is great. We also recently just opened a non-cash branch inside of Leisure Village West and in Manchester
Oh,
Township.
all right.
Yeah, so we have a small branch there that you could get into in a pinch. Just have to call ahead to get into that one because it's a gated community. But yeah, we have those two branches, and we also have a branch in Sayreville, which is sort of in between Monmouth and, well, Monmouth is in between Ocean and Middlesex County. So yeah, so we have a branch in Sayreville as well. But we have six branches now, six and a half if you count Leisure Village, and yeah, so that's how we're going with that.
I will put the main number and the website, all of that in the show notes. And I suggest you go on their website and see for yourself what the rates are. And I can tell you from personal experience, it's very easy to do business with them. You can do everything online too, or make a phone call. Everyone that I have worked with has been wonderfully helpful. And as a senior, and if you're worried about technology, don't be. They will guide you through everything.
Yeah, we try and do that. Our biggest thing, credit unions, the motto of the credit union industry is people helping people. And we focus on that. We want to be people helping people, and we pride ourselves on our service. Service is our differentiator. It's the credit union difference.
Right, right. Well, Mike, it's always fun to talk to you. And I keep thinking every time we get together that there'll be like some big uptick in savings, something great will happen. Well, let's see. The world is moving at a fast pace these days, so we'll see what happens next.
You never know, and we'll see what happens as everything takes shape, these global affairs and everything else, and things change quickly. There's also a new head of the Fed, so we'll see how much that plays a role in this going forward too. Interesting times. We're following along like everyone else, and that's why I say, play it conservative for now and keep things right down the middle. Don't go too crazy with being too aggressive or being too under aggressive, and I think
Makes
that's a smart
sense.
way to play it now
Makes
until
sense. Yeah.
we all see what happens.
Okay. So we've been speaking with Mike Powers, the president and CEO of Garden Savings Federal Credit Union. And again, I'll put all the info in the show notes. Mike, it was a pleasure to speak to you today.
You too, Andrea. Always great to catch up.
If it's important to you, it's important to us. I'm Andrea Tarr. We'll see you next time on Scan FYI. Bye, everyone, and bye, Mike.
Bye.